Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be a little bit different for me. So I really like makeup and true crime, and I have kind of gone into a rabbit hole of watching a lot lately. Like, it'll be 9 in the morning, start watching some, next thing I know it's lunchtime, go have my lunch, come back, watch some more, next thing I know it's dark outside and I have no idea what's happened to the day. So I get really invested in them, and so I like to watch some and then I kind of want to find out even more. So today I'm going to sit down, do my makeup and tell you about a case that kind of sparked my interest. I really love watching other YouTubers do these sorts of videos, like Sarian, I think that's how you say her name, I'm not sure, sorry if I've butchered it, but I will link her channel and some of her videos down below for you guys. So disclaimer, this case is a kidnapping case and it talks about being anxious, having anxiety, paranoia, having breakdowns, and is a bit where I'll be talking about a certain suspect who is a murderer and rapist. So if you have like young children, they should not be watching this, just putting that out there. So the case I'm going to be talking to you about is about a girl called Tammy Lynn, I think it's Leppert. I think that's how you pronounce her name. I will have her name on the title so you'll be able to see for yourself. So Tammy Lynn Leppert was born on February the 5th, 1965. So at the age of 4, Tammy started competing in beauty pageants, just like her mum did when her mum was younger. And by the time she was 16, she'd already competed in over 300 pageants. And she had taken home 280 crowns. So she was a very pretty young girl and she was very talented at doing pageants. When I was researching, I couldn't actually find like what her talent though in pageants were, because all of them have talents and I get really interested by these pageant girls' talents. I have no idea why, I just do. Growing up, Tammy was described as a very happy girl. She was always smiling, she always wanted to make friends. So she was never like a shy girl, she always wanted to play with people, always wanted to make people happy, and just seemed to be like living her best life really. So as she got older, she got into modelling, and in October 1978 she appeared in CoverGirl, which at the time for Tammy was a huge deal and really helped her career. But that is not what she wanted to do with her life. She didn't want to be a model or a beauty pageant girl her whole life. When she was young, she said to her mum, "I don't want to be famous, I just want to be an actress." And that is what she started pursuing. So when she got a bit older, she was cast in the film Spring Break. Not only was she cast in that film, but her legs, hips, torso, I think that was it, was used for the main poster in Spring Break. Now, once she finished filming Spring Break, she went to a party, a weekend party, and she went unaccompanied. And when she came back, everything was different. She was a completely different person. When Tammy came back, she was very anxious and paranoid. She was just not the girl that her mum and friends and family knew. Now, one day she said to her mum, "Mum, what would you say if I told you someone was trying to kill me?" So obviously her mum was like very worried and she didn't really know what to say, other than to ask Tammy why she thought someone would want to try and kill her. Now, Tammy would not fully say why she thought this. All she would say is that she witnessed something horrible and that she was going to get killed for it. It's believed that she knew a lot about drug trafficking and like those sorts of crimes that were going on, money laundering, all that sort of thing. That was very big at that point. Tammy began to spend a lot of time in her room. She wouldn't answer the phone either, and when other people answered it, she'd make sure that she told them to tell whoever it was that she wasn't there. So she just got so she was just becoming a bit more paranoid and more cautious, really. She also wouldn't eat any food off her own plate. She'd only eat it if she ate it off someone else's, and she wouldn't drink out of any drinks that were already open. So she would have to open it because she was afraid that someone was going to poison her to try and kill her. So it's reported in 1983 that Tammy was making over $20,000 a year, and that her mum was her agent, so some of that money was going towards supporting her mum and things like that. Now, just before Tammy went, was cast to have a small role in the film Scarface. Now, Tammy had already filmed all of her parts and was just kind of watching on set like the other scenes being filmed, which is nothing out of the ordinary. A lot of people do that. But there was this one scene. So there's one scene that was being filmed that Tammy watched be filmed, and they used a fake gun and fake blood. Tammy, it must have triggered her in some way, because she then ran to her trailer hysterically screaming and crying, and no one could calm her down, and eventually had to go home. So she actually went home on the 4th day of filming for the film. Now, when she got home, her mum made her file a police report, and Tammy agrees to this, but when she files it, she doesn't mention the main thing, that is someone's trying to kill her or get her or anything like that. So Tammy's just back at home, staying in her room, not really doing much, and she's just kind of keeping it to herself quite quietly. So Tammy's mum and her friend that was living with them at the time, who was it was reported that them two were like brother and sister. His name was Wing Flanagan, I think that's how you pronounce it. Now, they both said that she had good days and she had bad days, but there was this one particular day, and it was on July 1st, 1983. So Tammy's already home. Like I said, she'd just kind of been keeping to herself, which is very out of the ordinary for Tammy. And on this particular day, she had what seems to be a breakdown. So Tammy goes outside of the house and she starts looking around, and you know, she sees people and things, and her paranoia just seems to all of a sudden go from 0 to 100, you know, it just overtakes her. So as she stepped outside, the front door actually locked behind her, and because she couldn't get in, when her paranoia started to kick off, she was trying to get in and she couldn't. She'd been screaming, banging on the door. Her mum and Wing aren't coming to the door, which doesn't help her paranoia. She then thinks that they've locked her out and they're not letting her in. So she looks around the garden and she finds a baseball bat. Now she grabs this baseball bat and starts swinging it and hits it at the windows to get access in. Her friend Wing comes running out, telling her to calm down. Why is she trying to break into the house? What's going on? She pushes him and tries to get him away from her. Her mum then rushes down the stairs, asks what was going on, can see the look in her eye. Her eyes have changed. It's just afraid. That's all the expression is in her eyes. She's just afraid. So her mum's trying to calm her down, and eventually she calms her down, and her mum, I remember watching this one documentary on it, and her mum's like, I knew I'd calmed her down for that instance, but I didn't know if I'd be able to do it next time. Which, I mean, if you think about it, that's pretty scary to be like, as a parent, your child's freaking out, they think someone's out to get them, but they won't really tell you why. her mum must have just not known what to do. And I don't really think that Tammy knew what to do either. Like, it doesn't sound like she really knew what to do, who to go to, you know. She just didn't feel safe no matter what it sounded like. And I think it's a real shame really, because like she seems like a very happy, gonna be quite successful girl, and it's just a shame that all this kind of happened to her really, you know. Now because of this instance and the one at the set of Scarface, her mum took her to a medical centre and got a doctor to look at her, and after 72 hours they released her and said that there was no signs of drugs or alcohol or anything like that. But my kind of question is, why would Tammy want to be released after that like amount of time? If someone was trying to get you, like, why would you want to? You'd want to be in a safe place. That's just my thinking anyway, but I overthink things, so yeah, no. So 4 days after the incident at home, so we're now July the 5th, 1983, Tammy goes out with one of her good friends, Rick Adams, and they went to this church and they were praying. Now, Rick remembers Tammy saying to him that she's going to have to go away for a little while, but he doesn't really think too much of it at the time. He just thought that she was referring to her trip that she was taking. Now, Tammy was going to be going out of town to California, and she was going to be going to act in some movies over there. So Rick naturally just thought that that is what she was on about. So they'd also made plans the next day to meet up, but unfortunately that never happened. Now, Tammy disappeared on the 6th of July 1983. When Tammy disappeared, she was 5 foot, between 5 foot and 5 foot 5 inches. She was 105 pounds to 115 pounds. She had blonde curly hair, hazel eyes, and it was speculated that she was 3 months pregnant, but that theory was never proven, like a lot in this case. Now, the morning that she disappeared, Tammy didn't comb her hair according to her mum, which is very unusual for Tammy. Like, it was very out of her character. So yeah, it was very out of Tammy's character. She always spent a good amount of time on her appearance before she went anywhere, her mum says. So the fact that she didn't comb her hair was quite strange, but no one knows why. Her mum didn't really ask her why or anything like that, so there wasn't really, when I was researching this case, there wasn't like tons and tons and tons to find. There was just little bits. But yeah, so that morning Tammy got dressed and she put on a blue denim skirt and shirt with flowers on. They were matching, it's like a matching set, a grey purse and sandals. So at 11 AM Tammy left the house and she said to her mum as she was leaving, "Bye mum, I'll see you in a little bit, okay?" And her mum said that as soon as that front door went, she just knew that that was the last time that she was going to see her daughter. Which, I mean, if you think about that, that's really sad. Like, that is awful to think. I couldn't imagine what that was like for her poor mum. So Tammy and her good friend Keith Roberts were just driving along when they had an argument. Now, Keith says that this argument was because Tammy wanted dropping off in Fort Lauderdale. I can't even speak, so don't come at me for that. Just saying. But yeah, he said that that was the argument because they didn't have time, but she really wanted to be dropped off. So in the end, he says that he gave her $300 and dropped her. He dropped her off in a parking lot outside Glass Bank near an Exon gasoline station, which his ex later goes on to say that the fact that he says he would have given her $300 is super unlikely because he never had money the whole time they were dating. So we just don't know about that. So no one really knows what happened to Tammy. Detective Harold Lewis from the Cocoa Beach department, he says that he went on to receive 2 phone calls from a woman. Couldn't find what I was looking for. Bear with. Yeah, he says he went on to receive 2 calls from a woman, and that in these calls, the first call, the woman saying that Tammy is alive and that she will contact when it's the right time. And then that the second call said that Tammy was doing what she always wanted and was going to school to become a nurse. But Detective Harold Lewis says he has a feeling that she just split, that Tammy just split basically. There's quite a lot of theories on Tammy's disappearance, so I just kind of narrowed it down to the few most common ones. So the first theory is that she was a victim of a serial killer. So the serial killer is called Christopher Bernard Wilder, and he was linked to, well, he was linked by the FBI to multiple murders, rapes and attacks and disappearances of women in the early 1980s. So he frequently visited the area that Tammy disappeared from, and he was also very known for luring women by promising them non-existent modelling contracts and modelling jobs, which obviously Tammy would have loved. I think that's one of the reasons why people so widely believed that theory, was because obviously Tammy had done some modelling, was an actress, so you know that would just be the kind of thing that she'd want, some more modelling jobs and stuff. Now, Tammy's mum was her agent, and she also owned her own talent agency. Now, Tammy's mum believed at one point that it was Christopher, and she said to the police that she remembers someone who looked a lot like Christopher coming into the talent agency, but she wasn't 100% sure it was him, but if it wasn't him, it was his twin. So I think a lot of people then ended up believing that theory because of that, and just because of what he did and the timing and the area that Tammy disappeared. That was the area that he stalked his victims, I guess, and took them. And Tammy's mum believed this theory for quite a while, even though authorities hadn't linked him to Tammy's disappearance. And she believed it so much so that at one point she filed a claim worth over $1 million against his estate. But she ended up halting the process as she then had doubt it was him. But it's also important to note that his killing spree didn't actually start until a year after Tammy had disappeared as well. Now, a lot of people kept speculating that was Tammy was the first one and it got him hungry for it and he just started killing women then. But a lot of people are saying it wasn't him, because if it was, he probably would have just killed her then. Now, Christopher actually died in a police shootout in 1984, so the year after. So we will never know if he really did have any involvement or not. So police also had another person of interest. His name was John Crutchley. I had to look at my notes saying I can't pronounce names. Now, he was a convicted kidnapper and a rapist, and he was suspected of killing 30 women or more. However, there was nothing that was ever proven to link him to Tammy's disappearance, and in 2002 he committed suicide in prison as well. So again, they never found out anything on that. I feel like this case, like, it has a lot of loose ends. Like, they never found answers, and there was a lot of things that could have had a lead but never did. And so another theory, which is one that it's an unlikely one in my eyes, and a lot of other people think it's quite unlikely, but a lot of people also believe it's true, and that is that Tammy just ran away. So the reason for this was because of many reasons. The first reason was kind of just that, you know, Tammy being left in the parking lot. She then actually called her aunt 3 times and left messages because her aunt was out of town. Now, in these messages, her aunt says that Tammy sounded afraid of someone. However, there's no trace of these recordings, so we don't know if she actually did or if she didn't or what. We just don't know. The other reason some people was believing this kind of theory was that when police asked Tammy's friends about like certain things, they would say that Tammy was really unhappy at home and wanted to get away. So they were just saying, you know, she's got a lot of trouble at home, she's not happy, so I reckon she's probably just ran away. But I don't know, I just don't really believe this theory. And the other reason for it was there was talk that Linda, Tammy's mother, was verbally abusive and sometimes physically. So Linda's ex-husband, Richard Dex Leppert, which is who Tammy got her name from, because no one actually knows who Tammy's real father is, and so Tammy just got adopted by him, I believe, and took his last name. So him and Linda had a son together, and he thought that Linda was an unfit mother, so actually took their son away from her. There was also reportedly an incident where Linda threw a butter knife at Tammy across the room when they was having an argument. And yeah, it is said that Linda, I'm not making excuses if like she was verbally and physically abusive, I'm just giving you a bit of a backstory here. It was said that she had quite a rough upbringing, so she might have just been copying what she had only really known. I'm not sure. But it was said that she did love her children, she just didn't know how to show it. Which, I mean, if you have a rough upbringing, that is normally the case. You don't know how to show that you love someone. I'm not excusing the behaviour before people come for me, I'm just not. But I am giving you the information that I know. I mean, from the research that I've done, it just doesn't seem likely that Tammy would just run away. I mean, if it was trouble at home, then she was going to California anyway, already getting away. And like Cocoa Beach is very far from California, so she's already getting tons away. Also, it is probably good to mention that all Linda actually wanted was to find out what happened to her daughter. But unfortunately, Linda never got the opportunity. In her later life, Linda developed several medical conditions and was also in a very serious car accident. Yeah, the car accident actually left her disabled, so it was quite a serious one. She ended up receiving a bad blood transfusion that left her with an infection. She also ended up having kidney failure and heart disease, and she died at the age of 54. You know, it's really sad because like she just wanted to find out what happened to her daughter, and then later on in life she gets all these medical problems, and it's just not a nice situation really. Yeah, it's just kind of sad, but like all she wanted was to find out what happened to her daughter, and she just never got that chance to. A lot of people also thought that Linda or family members could have killed Tammy themselves, but I really, really doubt that. Just from everything that I've read, it just doesn't seem like that would have been what happened. You know, from what I read, it did seem like Linda did care about Tammy. So yeah, to me that one just doesn't really seem that probable. Okay, so the last theory, well, like, that's dust by the way, it's just my face powder. Good. Yeah, so the last theory was that Tammy was sold, well, taken and sold for sex trafficking, which at the time was a very big thing where they lived. It was happening quite a lot, and to be honest, I feel like that might be the one that I'm going more towards. So yeah, they were kind of like the theories that kept floating around really. Another one was that because she just seemed to disappear with no trace, nothing, was that she got into the witness protection program. And that's why someone, when they called the detective, was like, she'll, you know, contact you when the time's right. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly go do my hair, and then I will come back, do my lips, and give you my final thoughts on this case. Okay, so my kind of thoughts on this case. It was a lot of unanswered questions, you know. Tammy didn't seem to really open up too much in her life about why she thought someone was going to kill her. Like, she didn't really tell family and friends, so I think that kind of hindered the investigation a bit, because if, you know, someone's trying to kill you, you tell someone, or at least you should. Like, you should. Just point out that you should. But no, she just didn't. She didn't really say anything to anyone, really. I mean, she said, oh yeah, I think someone's trying to kill me, but she didn't go into detail. And I just think that because no leads, like, there's never any leads really, like, because no one really knew anything, they couldn't give anything, and it just made it really hard. But something that, like, I thought was really strange is that, like, the detective said that their job was hard because the report wasn't brought until late. It's like, why did no one report it till late?
if someone says I'll see you later, like it means they're coming home that night normally, so like why did no one report it? And I just thought that was a bit strange. So yeah, I just thought that was a bit strange. The fact that she just disappeared off the face of the earth, like that's a bit strange too. I think that either she was sold into sex trafficking, or yeah, she could have gone into witness protection, because she just seemed to vanish. And she wouldn't run away if you're scared that someone's gonna kill you. Like, they'll find you if you're gonna run away. At least what I'd be scared of. So like, I don't think she would have done that. So I just think that the only other explanation is that, yeah, she got sold, or she went into witness protection. But if she went into witness protection, why did she not tell anyone she was going to the police station to, like, you know, talk to the police? Because surely to go into witness protection, like, you have to talk to the police first. I know she did, but she didn't say that anyone was out to get her, so why would they then contact her about it again? Like, that bit's a bit suspicious to me. Just a little bit. But yeah, I don't know, guys. You'll have to let me know what you think about this case in the comments, because I really have no idea. Like, none. Okay, so yeah, that is basically the whole case. Like, wasn't tons, but it just really caught my attention. So if you guys have any suggestions on what case to do next, then please put them in the comments, or send them to me on Twitter, Instagram, wherever. You know, I hope you guys, I wouldn't really say enjoyed this video, because this topic isn't really something to enjoy, but you know, that you liked the video. And if you're like me and like makeup and like true crime kind of things, then yeah, hope you enjoyed it. But this is basically the makeup. I have no idea why I really did. So yeah, I will see you guys in the next video. Don't forget to hit that notification bell to never miss, and give this video a thumbs up, and also don't forget to subscribe. Bye guys.